Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show, as you see right here, a fatal four-way match right here. But the only caveat is if Wes Lee can win the fatal four-way match, he gets a shot against Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship at Deadline. Well, we got current main roster stars from both Raw and SmackDown here. Raw's Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed, as well as SmackDown's Cameron Grimes, all in a fatal four-way match. As I guess Wes Lee has to prove himself to Dominic Mysterio what he needs to do. We'll talk about that. Also, too, on Wrestling Hot Topic, we talk about this right here. It was revealed that Daniel Bryan was the one that was part of this committee to get rid of CM Punk. Do you think Daniel Bryan made a rash decision and didn't even live up to what he needed to do in order for the sake of AEW at the time? Well, I guess Daniel Bryan said he had to do what he had to do. Speaking of more AEW news and wrestling hot topics, we talk about QT Marshall, who's been a prominent figure in AEW, has resigned. QT went on to show this lengthy message right here. We'll get to that coming up. Man, what an NXT it was. We'll get to it as the NXT Ring Report starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the NXT Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Ken Diggs here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in that conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. We're going to talk about the Fatal 4-Way. Make an impact later on tonight. We'll get to that coming up as well. So we ain't gonna miss no time whatsoever. We'll get things started right now here on the NXT Ring Report with this. NXT kicked off with a bang right here. The tag team championships was on the line as Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, who are rumored to report to Monday Night Raw. SmackDown with Santos Escobar to get repackaged. Santos wants to lead his group and stuff. They went against the family of Tony D'Angelo and Stacks. What a match that was, but at the end, Tony D'Angelo and Stacks retained their NXT Tag Team Champions. Tony D'Angelo and Stacks keep the momentum going after being champions since Halloween Havoc. And they've been fighting champions thus far as they went. Well, it was a night of returns. We talked about with CM Punk coming back at Survivor Series this past Saturday, and Randy Orton as well. Speaking of that, NXT and night of returns, Nikita Thick Lyons was back. Nikita Lyons back in the house, sitting down with the fans. Nikita Lyons, making her presence known. She was suffering an injury. Now she has recovered from that injury. Nikita Lyons back. Now Nikita Lyons probably could be one day NXT Women's Champion if she motivates herself and stay focused and stay disciplined. She could. Well, speaking of that, the Iron Survivor match continues on as Keontae Jordan, many might know her as Carmelo Hayes' girlfriend, she advances into the Iron Survivor women's match. She will be in the Iron Survivor. Look for the Iron Survivor NXT Deadline Predict the Outcome special when we do it that Saturday for NXT for Peacock. But we said Nikita Lyons advances on. Not the Keontae Jordan, I meant to say. She advances on. Keontae Jordan getting herself ready. Even Ariana Grace, Santino Morella's daughter, she advances. She's trying to make a name for herself. Ariana Grace. do what she needed to do. Where? So we see that coming up in that factor. These two women for the Iron Survival match as well for them. So Kiana Jordan and Ariana Grace move on to their to the Iron Survival. They will meet. Speaking of that, Andre Chase has been going through under fire. He's currently under investigation after we found out that he's been dealing with a lot of money fraud and bad stuff. I say that, but he's put on the radar and he's trying to not keep himself from not doing what he need to do. Andre Chase, with a lot of stuff going on with him. Well, Kiana James and Roxanne Perez as well. These two women want to beat the holy crap out of each other. Kiana, that's thing, Roxanne Perez showing a new means, a new toughness and stuff in her, the build and stuff. So I guess she got to do what she has to do. Know what she needs to do. Well, we know this American Alpha from Monday Night Raw. American Alpha made a rare appearance. They said that they want to take on Metaphor. American Alpha taking on Metaphor, but they issued a challenge that they want to have a 6-person tag team match next week on NXT. And Metaphor has accepted the match, and it will go down next week on NXT. American Alpha taking on Metaphor in a 6-person tag team match. So you got to wonder who's gonna. I guess. What's her name gonna step up? Um, Last Legend and Norm Dar and what's his name? They're gonna take on Otis, Chad Gable, and the lovely. She kind of reminds me of Stacy Keebler, Maxine Dupree. They're gonna be coming up next week, so we get to see that match next week in a 6-person tag team match. So we get to see that as well. Well, Braun Breaker, the former NXT champion. Let me show him right quick. Braun Breaker made an appearance tonight. Braun Breaker, he went against some jobber tonight. Braun Breaker won his match in the Iron Survivor. He advances on. Braun saying that he could be the first 3-time NXT champion. NXT champion. He went against Eddie Thorpe. Braun Breaker defeated Eddie Thorpe tonight. He joins Trick Williams, Dijak, and Jason Briggs. So this is gonna be really a big man's match. And you ask me, got all them big men in the ring. They're gonna do damage, and we're gonna see that damage next week between Braun Breaker, Dijak, um, Trick Williams, and more others going forward. So we'll see that match at it'll be the men coming up. So we'll see that coming forward. However they're gonna go. Hey. Well, speaking of that, what's his name? Baron Corbin issued a challenge that he'll see Dijak next week. Dijak was in the match tonight against Nathan Frazier. Dijak attacked Nathan Frazier and left Nathan Frazier out. So Dijak will meet will meet Baron Corbin next week. They'll be face to face before their upcoming title match at NXT Deadline for the NXT title. So we'll get to see that as well next week, face to face between them two. Speaking of that, Joe Gacy found himself in a pickle. Joe Gacy doesn't want to be trapped. I guess Joe Gacy saying that he has the important thing that they need, and he had the ring bell, and he really between that match between what's her going down and stuff. So Joe Gacy being repackaged as to a new gimmick, and we'll see what Joe Gacy's gonna do, the new gimmick for him. Well, speaking of that, Carmelo Hayes came out there to warn Lexus King about Trick Williams. Lexus King might know something that we might not know. Lexus King really might know something that we may not know. But Carmelo Hayes, you can tell trying to prevent Lexus King from revealing the tape. What the tape might show in grand favor. So we might see that coming up for Lexus King and the rest of them with Carmelo Hayes. Well, we know this coming up. The Fatal 4-Way match. We know that what's his name? Wes Lee has an opportunity to get his North American Championship back. But the other thing is, I'm surprised that Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, and what's his? I forgot his name. Cameron Grimes. They don't get a shot at no title match. I guess it wasn't in the cards, but hey, it could have been, but it didn't seem that way. But as we saw right here, Wes Lee won the match. It was a devastating match. Wes Lee earns himself an opportunity to go against not Carmelo, but Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American title, and he'll meet him at Deadline. But the big spot of the night was when Bronson Reed picked up both all men and did a fallaway slam into a fucking Samoan drop. Two men on Samoan drop, and they come on, another match. So I'm kind of shocked and surprised by that. I'm still kind of shocked that they didn't put Carmelo Hayes in the match. Carmelo Hayes would have probably done dividends tonight, but who knows what they're doing with that. So hey, we end with Wes Lee. Wes Lee gets the title shot against Dominic Mysterio at NXT Deadline. So we'll get to see that match coming forward sooner rather than later. Well, that ends the NXT Ring Report. Let's move over quickly. Let's move over quickly to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we're gonna get to it right here. We'll get to this. QT Marshall, who has been a fixture of lately at AEW behind the scenes, he has announced that he will be resigning from AEW. QT Marshall had his hat in everything. That's what QT Marshall had wrote in the statement. And it quote, "Thank you, AEW. Thank you, Tony Khan. I have the privilege of being here since day one. I have written over 754 matches. I didn't know he'd written all that. Wrestling with always with pride. As much I enjoy being a vice president, a manager of talent relations, wearing myriad of hats. The company has changed a lot since 2019. It's heading in a different direction. And I feel that it's best I do the same as we get a chance to go all in. I have officially resigned from AEW and will have fulfill all my obligations by the end of 2023. Thank you to everyone from the front office to production truck to some of the hardworking talent in this sport. Most importantly, thank those who booed, cheered, and took part in this session. Now, a lot of people are wondering why he's leaving AEW. Some people are pointing that QT may be joining Cody Rhodes in WWE as an agent, coach, producer. Who knows? Probably that, or he wanted to wrestle more. So who knows what's in QT Marshall's card? We know QT Marshall was a closely right hand man to Cody Rhodes, and so he could be heading the way Cody's going. So who knows? That might be. Well, on another wrestling hot topic news right here, Sunny. She has been sentenced to 17 years and 18 years of probation. Sunny, known from WWE as the first diva, first online diva, and went on American Online now. She has been charged with several DUI charges, as well as um, running over a elderly man and killed him. So there's a lot going on with Sunny. I hope Sunny find peace where she's going in prison. Do something that she'll later regret. But we'll get to the Sunny a little bit down the road. More updates. Speaking of that, Camille, former NWA Women's Champion, saying her contract is coming close and she won't be signing. So Camille going to be a free agent. We're hearing that Camille could be landing either in AEW, WWE, or in Impact. One of those three places would kind of beneficial. I think she probably go to Impact since they might need her the most. Stuff, but hey, it is what it is. Well, more free agencies. We're hearing reports too that Ricky Starks could be heading his way to WWE. Ricky Starks. AEW don't do right with Ricky Starks, but we're hearing that Ricky Starks could be and they could be if things don't sound good right for him, he might hit the AEW. You never know. So you never know what that possibility is and how that's going to go. Also, too, I'm hearing reports that Bray Wyatt may be next in line to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Bray Wyatt, who passed away this past August from a rare heart form, Bray Wyatt, former Universal Champion, former WWE Champion. Bray recently returned at last year's event, and he could be. He just wrestled at the Royal Rumble. Man, it's just crazy. Bray Wyatt passed away, but he could be honored for his contributions in to wrestling. He could be a member. I expect Bray Wyatt will be inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. No question about it. It'll happen. What they do a recent post-modernist losses, they're gonna put you in like they did with Eddie Guerrero. He passed away in 2005. They put him in 2006 Hall of Fame. He's going to be a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. No question about it. Bray's going to be a member coming up shortly. I know that for a fact. Also, too, CM Punk. This is the statistics right here. Survivor Series makes history. Said it was the most viewed Survivor Series of all time. CM Punk's return was the most social moment in WWE history. Sponsorship went up 24% versus 2002. Largest gate in Survivor Series history. Survivor Series merchandise went up. So this was a better Survivor Series than today it was. But CM Punk had more reasons right here to be thankful. Somebody wrote this: heartbreaking middle-aged man swallows his pride and goes crawling back to the old job. Oh wow! But CM Punk did say that he's here for the money, so no question about that. This was the by the social media memes, even from last night when CM Punk came back from the door and returned to Raw. And this is right here the most social moment in WWE history. 71 million views across all social media platforms from CM Punk. CM Punk made rare history going in at Survivor Series and stuff. So this was someone wrote saying Punk's speech on Raw is giving me an ex-boyfriend who got your back with after he cheats after his cheating vibes. Misses you. This is home. I changed like psycho. Now we're getting new reports as well that Daniel Bryan might have been the one to told AEW to let CM Punk go. Daniel Bryan wrote that my dad always told me the right thing is often the hardest thing to do. It won't make the most money. It won't be the most popular, but it's still the right thing. So a lot of people are alluding that Daniel Bryan was part of that committee that let CM Punk go, but they outweighed the positives, but they couldn't outweigh the negatives, and so the negatives was that. Well, we'll see how CM Punk do. I hope they don't know that they didn't make a mistake because I mean, CM Punk, this number right here, come on now. I think too, AEW should have, to me, they should have worked things out with CM Punk, the executive vice presidents, with that. But like I said, but what goes around comes around. I say that right now. So hey, see where that's gonna go. Well, we're gonna do it right here for the Pro Wrestling Show. We see right here Wes Lee earns himself at the end a championship match against Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship. And Wes Lee win back the title that he once had. Time will tell on that. Well, that's gonna do it here from the Pro Wrestling Show. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow for the AEW Diamond.